us. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the functionality and look at the general navigation of the NHVR portal. Before we look at the general navigation, I just want to point out that today's session, we don't actually cover the overall account or users functionality. For customers, we recommend that you contact our Hypercare team. Okay, and we have the number there, 1300 696 487. Because you are not constantly creating new accounts or trying to link accounts or creating new users or deactivating users, which can be quite a challenging task if you're only doing it every few months or maybe once a year, we definitely recommend contacting our Hypercare team. Now, that's a team that sits within our NHVR Brisbane office here. They are designated to help you with the NHVR portal, okay? And one of their most common things is really fixing up the accounts and fixing up the users for customers. So moving on now to the NHVR portal general navigation demonstration. So I'm just going to jump now to our training environment of the NHVR portal. So you can see here I've logged into my fake account, I've got a fake name, and I'll just run through some of the general navigation. So just in regards to some of the lingo we utilise throughout our training material and our FAQs, I'm just going to point out that this is referred to the top menu. Okay, so the panel across the top, and I'm just waving my cursor over that now, we refer to that as the top menu. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the functionality from left to right of the page. The very top left corner, we have this little hamburger button, so the 3 horizontal lines. We call that the hamburger button. If we select that and select it again, it's actually expanding and minimizing that left side menu. So if you're not 100% confident with the NHVR portal, I definitely recommend that you have that left side menu at the expanded option. It can just be a little bit easier to help with the general navigation. Moving on to the right here, we can see the NHVR portal customer logo. So that's just making sure, for whatever reason, if you do have multiple accounts as the customer, or sometimes even the road managers play a customer role within the council, just making sure that you are on the correct platform in the NHVR portal. So moving more towards the right now, and I get to my first button here, which is the overall account drop down. Now, just from first glance, it's actually going to let me know that I am logged into the correct account, and maybe if you are a customer and a user that has access to multiple company accounts, just making sure that you are currently viewing the correct account. So my fake company here is Premium Truck Bodies. This here is also a drop-down button that gives you some quick shortcuts into changing active accounts. So if you are a user that is registered for multiple accounts, you can easily flip through those accounts by selecting the Change Active Account. And you also have some quick access in there to manage that particular customer account that you're currently accessing. Okay, so just some quick shortcuts there from the top menu. Moving to the right of that now, so we were looking at the account. We are now looking at the drop-down button for me as the unique user who is currently logged in. So the most important thing there is to make sure that it's my name that I'm currently seeing. So my fake name today is first name Simon. And once again, just selecting on that drop-down, it's giving me some shortcuts into my own profile and a shortcut there to log out. To the right of that, we have our notification bell. Okay, so as a customer, every time that you receive a notification in the portal, you will also receive an email through the email address here. So my email address is simon@gmail.com. So every time I get a notification, it is also going to send me a reminder email through my email. Okay, then I can log into the portal, I can select on my little notification bell, and it can let me know everything that's going on with my cases. Okay, so the reason you would receive a notification in the NHVR portal, if an additional information request has been sent either by the regulator or by the road manager, an extension of time request has been sent by the road manager, a permit has been issued, a case has been closed under notice, or a case has been closed, withdrawn, you will receive all of those important notifications. So it is very important that you are checking in with those notifications. To the right of that, we have our NHVR Portal Help Centre. Okay, so within the NHVR Portal Help Centre, you actually have access to FAQs, past training materials, supporting documentation. Unfortunately, in my fake training environment of the portal today, I'm not sure if it will actually load through, but it's definitely beneficial when you actually log into your portal today in the live solution of the portal. Definitely go and check out that Help Centre and see what's to offer. So that is the NHVR Portal Help Centre. And that finishes off everything for that top menu. I'm now going to jump to my left side menu. So that is the grey panel, and I'm just running my cursor up and down the left side menu. Okay. So one by one now, I'm just going to go through the different options and give a brief description as to the functionality that lives within each of these headings. I won't go into too much detail because throughout the rest of today's training, we'll return to these modules and have a closer look at the functionality and demonstrate everything you need to know. So just in regards to general navigation, you can see at the top of this list is the home screen. So if you're ever feeling a bit lost in the portal, you can always select on the home screen and return to the page that you can now see in front of you. Below that, we have an access permits heading, and we have some subheadings, okay? The reason that we do have the access permit as a heading and then subheadings, keep in mind that, and you can see there below that we also have registrations, but as I said earlier, we will soon be seeing the vehicle standards, the accreditation, and the performance-based standards all as their own heading within the NHVR portal. So the heading of access permits and all of these subheadings, of course, is going to be the functionality that is relating to the access permits. The first one in the list there is vehicle configurations. Vehicle configurations is where you can come to build out your entire fleet or the components of your fleet that can actually create a shortcut in the application process. So the application process is a 6-step process. Step 1, vehicle details, and step 3, route details being the most time consuming. So the vehicle configuration actually allows you to build out and pre-populate all your vehicle detail information, and from here you can submit applications and create shortcuts. As I said earlier, we are going to be returning to the vehicle configurations, and I'll show you and demonstrate quite thoroughly the functionality here. But just in regards to what the vehicle configurations is, building out your entire fleet, adding in all of those vehicle details, and then creating the shortcuts and submitting applications from here. Returning to the left side menu and below configurations is the application tracker. The application tracker will show you all of the draft or submitted applications for the overall account. It also allows you to submit new applications, amend, renew, or cancel applications. If we are going to be submitting applications from the application tracker, there's really no shortcuts involved when selecting on these buttons, okay? That's complete blank applications, okay? But application tracker essentially is draft applications. It will show you also all the submitted applications and where you can come to submit your applications. Returning to the left side menu, the difference between an application tracker and the case tracker. The case tracker is only going to show you the applications that have been paid for and therefore submitted. So the ones that are actually sent off to the NHVR and that are being processed. So from the case tracker, you are just going to monitor either the active cases or the live ongoing cases, or you can also start to run some basic reports from your case tracker in regards to finalised cases as well. So essentially your case tracker is going to show you absolutely all of the applications that have ever been submitted to the NHVR and therefore have been passed on to the road manager or finalised depending on the situation. So that is the case tracker. Below that is the task tracker. Now the task tracker is essentially your notifications bell. So the notifications and task tracker is essentially the same thing. If I was to get an additional information request, an alternative route proposal, an extension of time request, not only can I utilise my notification bell, but I can also come to the task tracker in order to view, select on, and then action those particular requests. So that is the task tracker. Returning to the left side menu now and looking at the permit library, this is where I will go to access all of the issued permit documents. Okay, so this is that 24/7 access to all of your issued permit documents via the NHVR portal. So just keep in mind that we don't actually hold copies of the state jurisdiction issued permits. It's only NHVR issued permits. And below that, we have some reporting functionality for customers. Okay. Looking below that, we now hit our registration section in the left side menu. Now, unfortunately, our training today is access permit specific, so I won't be going through the registrations module, but you can see there once again, selecting on the heading, you get a range of different subheadings relating to the registration functionality within the NHVR portal. Below that in the left side menu, we have our information hub. Now within the information hub, we have a route planner tool. Now this route planner tool is external to any application or case. This is really where you can come to retrieve journey IDs, save journey ID codes, have a play around with the functionality and the mapping functionality. So if you're not confident in mapping or playing around with the maps, you can come in here, have an absolute play around and not worry that it's actually affecting an application or a case. Okay, so you can see there you can get route ID by selecting on the blue button here, entering and retrieving those details there. Otherwise, I'm just going to zoom into Brisbane now and plot 2 points on the map. Okay, and you can see now that as soon as I've got a somewhat completed route with a start and a finish, it will allow me to save or get route ID. So just selecting on that button, you can now see that I've got a code there. Now, as soon as I've got a route ID code, it is also going to be creating a shortcut. So if I needed this route for 7 of my different combinations, heavy vehicle combinations, instead of plotting that in the application each time, I can now utilize that code and just retrieve that in the application mapping functionality as well, which we'll go through a little bit later on, but definitely something to consider as a shortcut in the application process. But as I said before, you can jump in here, you can turn on some layers, you can have a look at maybe what road manager is going to be affected in that particular area if you need to travel there. It just gives you that ability to play around with this mapping functionality external to a case or to an application. So definitely a good tool to know. Also, you actually don't have to be logged into the portal to access that information hub and the route planner tool. So I'm just going to log out now, just very quickly to show you. I'm on my login page here. I still have the left side menu, and within that is the route planner tool. Okay, so you don't actually have to be logged into the portal to access this mapping tool. So I'm just going to log back in now. Make sure I'm at the right account. Back to the customer. Okay. So that was just within the left side menu, under the information hub heading, the subheading route planner tool. To continue on now, just in regards to general navigation, below that in the left side menu is the account. So you can see there the different options, the change active account. So this is all of the different accounts I have access to. Most commonly, it's just going to be the one account and you'll never have to perform this functionality, but some users do have multiple accounts. And also some road managers will also have a customer account as well. So if you do need to change the active account that you're looking at, it's just about coming here. Below that, we have manage customer account. So this is where you would go to make sure all of those details are up to date. If you are the administrator to the account, you can invite new users in to have access to your account. It's all about just making sure that your contact details is the most up to date. We do, in regards to online training like today or any other events that the NHVR is holding, we first go to the NHVR portal, and from there we get a contact list, and that is how we invite people to our training. So it is very important that you make sure those details are kept up to date if you are interested in opportunities that the NHVR are created. Below that, you have the option to create a new customer account. Once again, very rare. Below that, we have a payment history and some basic reporting and some search functionality in regards to payments. And then we have the export library, which we're going to be utilizing a little bit later on in regards to running those basic reports from the case tracker. As I said earlier, when it comes to anything to do with this account details, updating the account details, linking it to another account, creating new users or deactivating users, I do recommend that you call our hypercare team just to get a little bit of support. Okay, they are very important if you think about who accesses your account, who doesn't access your account, making sure that if you are creating a new user, making sure that they are linked to the account correctly. And because you aren't doing that on a day-to-day basis, as I said, I recommend contacting our hypercare team and just getting either walked through or letting them know what you need, and they can update your account and your user details on your behalf. Returning to the left side menu now, we have My Profile. So your own profile is in regards to your individual contact details. So the account is the overall company's contact details, and your own profile is your own unique contact details. Once again, it is very, very important that these details are kept up to date. If you are going to be the one to submit applications, or if you're just a contact person for applications, and the NHVR needs to contact you for any reason, it's very important these details are the most appropriate and the most up to date. So you can see there within your own profile, you've got a few tabs up the top here. You can set the preferences as to how you prefer to be contacted. You can change your password and also the ability to change your email address. Okay. There's other tabs in here just in regards to the multiple accounts that you may or may not have access to. You can set up a profile picture, and then you have the event log of when you've been logging in or logging out. Okay, so that's all within your own profile. And as I said earlier, it is your responsibility to ensure those details are kept up to date and they're the most appropriate details in order to contact you. Just returning back to that left side menu, and the last option there is the option to log out of the portal. Okay, I'm just going to click back on our home screen now. There's one last thing I would like to run by you and just let you know. So within our home screen, you actually have two options as to what you see on your home screen. The first option here is the menu layout. So what you see in the left side menu is also what you'll get here in the menu tiles. So the reason behind this is there is a little bit more of a description in these menu tiles. So if you are only logging into the portal once every 3 months or 6 months or once a year, it's just to further assist you with the general navigation. Okay, so selecting on access permits, I then get the different headings here and a little bit more of a description as to what's in each one of those sections. Just selecting back on the home screen now, the second option for our home screen, I'm just going to select on the Account Dashboard tab. Now the Account Dashboard is actually going to give you some sort of basic level reporting, a visualization of all of the active ongoing cases that are currently being processed through the NHVR. Okay, so as soon as you submit an application, you can see here it will start to go through the 4 different statuses. So you've got a new queue here, all of the cases that will be sitting with the NHVR in the new queue. As soon as an access facilitator picks up that case and begins the initial assessment, it will jump across into this assessment section. Now, this page is very well, I should say the portal in general is very well color coordinated to show the 3 different partners involved. So green represents the customer, blue represents the regulator, and orange represents the road managers. So orange is road managers. You can see here that even under the assessment queue, there's 6 cases sitting with the regulator and 2 cases sitting with the customer. So I do recommend utilizing this account dashboard just so you can see anything that's sitting with the customer means an additional information request, an alternative route proposal from the road manager, or an extension of time request. Okay, so as the customer, you want to make sure that these cases aren't sitting with you for a long period of time. And just to make sure nothing's being missed, you can come in here and see anything green means that you need to action it as the customer. So the assessment is all to do with the initial assessment before it is sent out to the road manager. This third section here is consent, and you can see that that is primary with the road managers. So we've now generated consent, and these cases are all sitting with the road manager. Once again, you can see a little section here that is green and it's sitting with the customer. That means that the road manager has sent a request. Okay, once again, the customer needs to action anything that is green and sitting with them. You can see here in the last chunk, the road managers have provided a response. It's back sitting with the regulator to draft and issue the permit. And once again, we still can get additional information requests to the customer in this particular section as well. Now, the great feature as well with this dashboard is you can actually select into these colourful fields, and it is going to give you a shortcut into these cases. Okay, so if I need to go in and jump into the one that's customer info requested, I can select on this section here, and it will take me directly to that case. So some great shortcuts there. Now, below this sort of top level of reporting, and that's all of the cases for the overall account. So if you do have multiple users in there, all responsible for submitting applications, it's showing you that big picture of absolutely everything to do with the overall account. Now below that gives you some quick links into all of the cases. Okay, so in this section here is just some quick links into all of the cases, and to the right of that, once again, is sort of our third option in the portal to manage our notifications. So you have the notification bell in the top right corner, you have the task tracker in the left side menu, but from the default home screen, you also have this option here of notifications. Okay, and once again, just selecting into these rows here will take you directly to that case, and you'll be able to provide your response or action accordingly. I do recommend that if you are jumping into the portal at least once a week, that you are utilising this account dashboard. Most importantly, for just identifying the cases that are green sitting with the customer. As I said, you don't want those in your name for a long period of time. You want these applications to be progressing as quickly as they can. So any time wasted with the customer, of course, we want to be making sure that we are, of course, aware of those and actioning them as soon as possible. Okay, so that finishes up the demonstration in regards to the general functionality.